The recording started. स्पीड वगैरे ठीक आहे का जास्त फास्ट होते? म्हणजे ऑलमोस्ट आपण मागच्या वेळेस 15 दिवस मी गॅप असल्यामुळे तर आपण लेट झालं थोडंसं तसं टॉपिक वाईज पाहिलं तर. बट जे बाकीचे चालू आहे ते जास्त असं जम्बलिंग होत नाही ना?
नाही, आजच पहिल्यांदा म्हणजे 2 सेशन मध्ये करतोय ना.
काय काय?
म्हणजे आजच आपण 2 म्हणजे स्प्लिट करतोय ना 2 वेळा सकाळ
हा
संध्याकाळ.
हा, थोडस डायजेस्ट हेक्टिक होईल थोडस. आणि एक जस्ट सांगायचं विसरून गेलो, उद्याचं मॉर्निंगचं मला नाही जमणार, मी थोडस बाहेर चाललोय. एक सामान आणायचं जे मॉर्निंगलाच भेटतं आर्मी कॅन्टीन मधून, ठीक आहे, त्यासाठी त्यांच्यासोबत चाललोय. पण सकाळचं कंटिन्यू करू आपण 6 वाजता. ठीक आहे, स्क्रीन दिसते माझी?
हो सर.
हा, विजिबल.
येस.
ओके. ठीक आहे. Now today we will cover about this user management, IAM service, identity and access management, then S3 bucket, and if type permits, then we can quickly go through the CloudWatch and CloudTrail. Okay. User management service, you can simply search in this IAM. Okay, it's identity access management, similar to our user management in Windows machine, if you can consider as a simple language. Okay. So where we can create number of users. For the AWS 5 team members, if someone want AWS console access, okay, so we can just simply create the user here, and we can create the credentials and come with the console access, and we can share the credentials with that team member. So he can same, he can use the console, and he can based on the permissions he can do whatever things. Okay, if we allow administrator access, so he can do that kind of activities like creation of the any resources or a deletion management something. Okay. If we have given the restricted permission like read only access or any S3 bucket access or EC2 access, so he can only work inside those restricted areas. Okay. So we have this some component for the user management service, identity and access management. Here you can see user groups. I will show you that even in the intro questions you might get this, what is the use of this user groups or situation based question. Okay. So after the session, I will give you some hint about this, what kind of questions you might get. Let me delete this. I have created yesterday for the interview preparation. Let me delete this as well. In real time, we never create this user. Okay. Why we don't create, I will let you know. So user group is basically collection of list of your users. Okay, whatever the users you created here, let's say now you can see 4 users in a real time. If you have a number of users like 20, 30, 40, whatever. Okay, so you can club into one of the user groups. Okay, the benefit of using user group is like, let's say you have created the user groups for the IT department, and simply give the permission. Let's say for the IT department, you can give the full access, administrator access. Okay, and simply create the group. So IT department has been created. Now let's say you want to create one more group, which is called as a finance department. And for the finance department, you don't need to give the administrator access. You can simply give the S3 bucket access only. Okay, because they want to check the financial data which is stored on the S3 bucket, right? So we can give either we can give read only access, or let's say for now S3 bucket full access. Okay, so they can only able to access S3 bucket. They they will not able to access your EC2 servers, RDS, VPC, or any other active services. They will only able to access S3 bucket. Just click on create group. Okay, once it's created, so now let's say we will create some users here. Let me delete these users. This is just to create when I do the practice. Or let's keep as it is. Okay, we can create new users here. How you can create users? Simply click on create user, give the username like IT user. And if you want to give the console access, like the way I'm using now, okay, so you can click on this, provide user access to AWS management console. Okay, so how you can create, I will show you. Just click on that, and in this case you can either create the, just select this, I want to create an IAM user. If you require auto generated password, you can just simply go with this option. Otherwise you can add your custom password. I'm just creating the sample password here. If you want to keep this option enabled, like user must create a new password at a next sign in, which is recommended, but for practice purpose, sorry, I'm just skipping that option. Click on next. Okay, password policy not matching. Let me give some strong password. Okay, so now you can see if you want to attach any specific permission policy, so you can select this option, attach policy directly. Okay, whatever the policy you want to give, like RDS policy, RDS access policy, your S3 bucket access policy, your full access like administrator access, or any Lambda function related policies you can assign. Okay, but for now, just to show you, I can create the, or I can add simply into the user, which one, user group. Okay, and I can add this user to IT department group. Okay, I will not go directly to create the separate policies for that. So whatever the policy we have attached to this IT department group, so that will that policy will automatically applicable for this user. Okay, just click on next and just create the user. So you will get your sign in URL. Okay, and your username and password. So how I can log in this AWS console now? Just copy this URL, open in incognito mode, just paste, go back to username, IT user and password. Okay. So as you can see, the URL is, you are able to see my name, but by default it will not a name, it will be your account ID. Okay. So from the account section, you can able to rename it, or even in this IMA service as well, you can change it. So instead of giving this account ID, you can whatever the name you want to keep, you can add as a canonical name here. Okay. So let's check. So it will come automatically here. Just add the user, IT user, and whatever the password you have given. Okay, just enter. So once if everything goes well, like your credentials, your policies, so you will able to log into your AWS console, and you can
I think screen is stuck and you are not audible. At least for me.
I'm audible now.
Yeah, now audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir.
Yes. So where we get disconnected?
You are browsing that login URL.
Okay, okay. My network get fluctuated. Okay. Yeah. So here I just created this username and password with the sign in URL. So this sign in URL you can just copy, and in incognito mode I'm just trying to show you, and you can simply log into that by username password. Okay. It's a simple process. You get that, or should I explain again, because it's disconnected in middle way?
So please explain again, if possible.
Okay, let me log out it. So first, after creation of the users, this step is clear, right? How to create the users.
Yes, means
Yes.
add, create user, add user into the group. Up to that,
Yes, yes,
it is
yes.
clear.
So whatever the policy attached to user that group, that policy will applicable for that user. So how you can log into this AWS console? Just copy this URL, open incognito browser. Okay. How you can open? I am just using the shortcut key like Control Shift and N. But if you don't know about the shortcut, you can from three dots you can open incognito mode, new incognito window, and you can see the shortcut here, Control Shift and N. So just paste this login URL. It will ask username and password. So whatever we have created, username and password, we can just enter here. Okay, and password, and we can just click on sign in. If everything goes well, like your credentials, your login URL, then it will be able to log in clearly, okay, without any issues. Here we stuck, right? Last time.
Yes.
Okay, so here once you log in, just always remember, whenever you do practice for even in the personal system or personal account or office, any project. So first you should check your region. Okay, if you are landing in the proper region or not. So otherwise you will get surprised, like if you have any resources in EC2, for example, and if you don't say, so don't get a panic. First, always best practice to check the region here. Okay, sometimes it's randomly selected anything or North Virginia. So always go with your resources, where I always use Mumbai. This user, like IT user, is a part of the IT department groups, and IT department has a full access. Okay, so that's why I'm able to see the resources, and you can verify from here from which user you are logging. Okay, I am able to see these resources, or even if I want to shut down the servers, it's a running status, I can shut down. Okay, this operation successfully completed. Mm. It's in stopping state. So let me change the permission quickly, so and we can see. cancel. So what I can do is now, for let's say for IT department, instead of the full access, let me remove this. And if I can add permission with a different, like a read only. Let's say Amazon EC2 read only access. Okay. Just attach policy. And now if I can refresh this page, let's see. Now I don't have full access. I just have a EC2 read only access. If I try to start the service now, this server, let's see, will happen. See what the error you are getting. You are not authorized to perform this operation. Okay. And the username blah blah blah. IT user is not authorized to perform EC2 start instance because I just given the permission only EC2 read only access, which means we can only able to see this instance properties like the how many servers are running, their IP address, their status, like that. Security groups. Okay. If I try to open security group, okay, and if I let's see if I want to add any inbound rules, it will allow me or not. Okay. Let me open the any port like RDP. Okay, RDP is already there. So let me search different one
Namdev
like
sir,
Postgres.
your once again stuck. Your network issue, I think.
No, now I am able.
Screen
I'm
is stuck
just
actually.
connected with my hotspot.
Screen is stuck actually.
Okay. Let me reshare. Let me know once it's visible.
Yeah, it's visible.
So on what point it's freeze?
From this point,
EC2
what you
means
doing?
what are the user having read only permission that can see only means EC2 instance property cannot log into the EC2 instance.
Okay, that error you able to see, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
that grade one error.
Okay. So now I am just trying to add the security group rules just to check that permission is applicable for or not. Okay. So let me open this PostgreSQL port here for anywhere for just to test, and let me save this rule. Yeah. So this is the error it's giving me because I don't have any permissions. Okay. If I go back to this system and let me remove this read only permission and add now proper permission. Okay. Like your EC2 full access, EC2 full access. I'm only giving only specific permission here. Okay. Not giving the full access. So now I have attached the EC2 full access, which means you can perform whatever you want only for the EC2 servers, not for the S3 bucket, RDS or something. Okay. So let me quickly check now. I am just using the Cognito window incognito. So those don't get confused here. Okay. So now I have proper permission on the EC2 instance level. So let me retry this option now. Yeah, it's able to add the inbound rules now. Okay, because I have attached the EC2 level full access. So that's why he is able to add the inbound rule. If I go back now and let me start this server. From the instance state, start service. See. Okay, so this is the use case of this policies. Okay, and this is part of the user and policies. Okay, With the users, you can create your credentials, you can able to log into your AWS console like that. And whatever the permissions you want to give, you can give from the policies. Okay, there are number of policies. You can see 1268 policies. So out of that, there are some AWS managed policy. You can see the type here, AWS managed policy. Okay, and customer managed policy. So what are the difference between these? So AWS managed means in every AWS accounts, if you can log into your AWS account and check this service, okay, you can just search IMA and then go to policies. So you might get different policies there, which is already created by the AWS for certain resource level access permission. Okay, like your EC2 instance access, your S3 bucket, your RDS, VPC, like that, Lambda functions, API gateway. So all the policies you will get that from here. Okay, and this policy we as a customer we cannot modify it. If you want to modify like adding more permission or removing, it's not allowed in the AWS managed policy. So if you have customer managed policy, you can do whatever you want, like any customization, any modification in the policy. So that is one more difference here. I will show you how you can create the custom policies. Okay. So now one more thing I want to show here. This is the one of the case like we can create the console user access. Okay. So let me log out here. I want to show you one more thing here. Okay. We have this user, right? IT user, and under the security tab credentials, okay, you can get your console access. Let me add this here. Do you aware like multi-factor authentication? Anyone use or
Yes.
aware about this? Yeah, multi-factor authentication. So
Yes.
when we log in first time or last session, it's not asking that multi-factor authentication because we have not enabled that. So how we can enable that? We have this option multi-factor authentication. This option where we can find, just click on go to that user and select that particular user, and under this security credentials you will get that. Okay, here we can add the device. So just click on this assign MFA device and give the device name like soft MFA. Okay, any name you can just give. Here three options you can see: hardware token. Okay, sometimes company or project client you they will provide hardware token. Okay, which is similar to your pen drive something. Let me show you hardware MFA token device. See this kind of device. Here it will automatically generate one OTP. Okay, and I think after 20 seconds or 30 seconds it will be lapse. So if you have that kind of device, you can select this one. Otherwise, you can just select soft token, software based token, which you can use in your phone, Microsoft Authenticator or Google Authenticator. Anyone aware about this? Google Authenticator. If you open your Play Store now, Google Play Store, just search Google Authenticator.
Sir, in my current organization, we are using Authy app, which is useful for uh, reset the password.
Okay, that might be for the resetting password, but this you can use as a MFA. So Google Authenticator you need to install on your phone, or you can use free OTP. So there are multiple tools. Free OTP. Okay, this one you can use this as for the multi-factor authentication or your Microsoft Authenticator. Okay, this one. So there are different tools Microsoft Authenticator, this one. Okay. So now in my phone, I am using Google Authenticator. Let me open that first. But before that, what you can do is just select that Authenticator app and click on next. You will get one barcode here. Okay. You need to scan this barcode from your mobile phone. Okay. Once you install that Authenticator application from the Google Play Store, then just simply open that phone, that app, and just scan this code. Okay. I'm just scanning from my mobile. And you need to add two MFA code here one by one after generating. Okay, so let me add that 224220, and after 20 or 30 seconds it will be generate next token code. You need to add here next code. Okay, then just click on add MFA. So I have successfully added here. You can see virtual device is added. If I can try now with this user, let me add the username here, like IT user, your password. Now what will happen? It will directly log in, or it will ask MFA. So it will ask MFA here. Okay. Yeah. So without that, you cannot log in. So let me add. Open your Google Authenticator app from your mobile. Just add the generated token. Okay. If that token code is valid, then it will allow you to log into your account. This is the additional security layer. If your password get compromised, so at least if you enable that MFA, you can able to secure your account. Let me go to EC2 service here. So now based on your permission level, you can do the activities in your account. Okay. Let me log out this. I hope this is the clear how to set up the multi-factor authentication.
Sir, how to create custom policy means just like if a user only create resources in Mumbai region, then how to create for that?
Okay, region-based restriction.
Yes.
I need to check. There might be option is there, but that kind of activities not perform. But I will show you some of the example how we can create the custom policies. So let me come to that part. So now this is just for the IAM users. Okay. So now if I change, sorry, let me disable this MFA device. You can quickly remove it from here. OK, so now it will not ask MFA for any login, console based login. So one more thing, this is just for the your console access, your username password you can use. But what about if you want to manage the AWS services through the command line, AWS CLI, which we have seen on the introduction section, if you are aware about, if you remember that session. OK, so we need to create the access key and secret key. How we can create? Just go to this IMA, then users, click on your particular users like IT user, go to security credentials, and here just scroll down. You can see access key. Simply just click on that and just click on this CLI option here and confirmation just for the acknowledgement, and just click next and create access key. So here you will get automatically generated access key and secret key. So these value you can use on your local machine. This by using this access key and secret key, you can able to access your AWS account from anywhere in the world. Okay, any system, any things like. So these are the very important credentials. So always keep secure if you are using. Normally in real-time industry, no one allows you to create this access key and secret key because of this security compliance issue. If someone compromise or you uploaded in your GitHub repository, which is public repository, Okay, sometimes people use this made this manual mistakes. Okay, they, if they are a new users or freshers, they can just doing the practicals and they can push this access key and secret key in their GitHub repository. Okay, so that might be a security compliance issue. So don't do that in the practical project. Okay, so that's why they the role concept is come into the picture. IAM roles. I want to show you that as well. Okay. So how you can configure this access key and secret key on your local machine? You need to first download the AWS CLI tool, which we have already seen in the last session. Okay, introduction session. From here, you can just download. Just click on the 64-bit. You will download that AWS CLI version, and you can just simply install that. Okay. Once that is installed from your local machine, you can open the CM by a command prompt, and to check the version, you can just simply use the simply use AWS -- version command. So whatever the install version you have installed, that will print as output here, version number. So you can see now AWS CLI 2.15. Okay, if you want to configure that credentials now, you need to use the command AWS configure. Okay, and here you will he will ask enter the access key. From where you can get that access key? Simply just copy from here. Okay, and paste it here. So I will not paste here because I have already configured one of the access key. But if you want to configure first time, you can just paste and just press enter. Okay, then he will ask secret access key. Secret access key, just copy and you can paste here and just simply press enter. Okay. Now he will ask region name. So where you want to create the resource like Mumbai, Singapore or something. So you need to enter the region code. So from where you can find that region code, you can see here in front of your region name, you can get that region code. Okay. For Mumbai, App South 1, App South 2 for Hyderabad. For North Virginia, it's US East 1. Okay. So this is the thing. So you can get that and just simply click on next and enter. Okay. So once you have configured and whatever the policy permission that user has, which I just configured, so he can able to perform the operations from the command line. Let's say I am just executing the command AWS S3 LS, which is running fine. Okay. But let me remove that user permission. I know that I think I'm using this practice user. How I can verify? I can verify from this X5i. Let me check. It's a 77E. Let me check one more user. This one. Yeah, this user I am just using now. Okay. Terraform user. So this user has administrator access now. If I can simply remove this permission. So now this user doesn't have any policies now. Okay. So if I execute now this command AWS S3 LS, he will give the errors. What error I am getting? List calling the list buckets operation access denied, which means I don't have permission. If I add this policy again, just click on attach policy directly and just attach administrator full access. Okay, simply click and next, add permission. Policy has been added. If I execute same command now, let's see what will happen. So now I'm able to get that bucket list. Okay, so whatever the policies you are going to attach that users, so that will work based on that.
It means, sir, at least any one policy has attached to user without policy he unable to access, no?
Without, if you don't have any policies, you will not perform any actions.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
like if you have a policies for the EC2 servers, only EC2 servers, but you are trying to access the S3 bucket, still that user will not able to perform any operations because that user doesn't have a permission on the S3 bucket.
Yes,
You are getting right now?
yes, I'm getting it.
Okay. It's the same concept if I just explain in the simple language. I am the user here. Okay. I have, let's say I have a different locker system here, like a locker A, B, C, right? Let's say A, B, C, D. Let's say, for example, if this is the user, I am attaching the policy or giving the permission to only access the locker A. I am not giving any access to B or C or D. So that user will not able to access these lockers. Only he can able to access only locker A. If I give full access, so he can able to and perform any operation in all the lockers. So now one more user I have. Okay. If this user I am giving permission only for the D locker. So this user will not able to perform any operation for ABC. So this is the concept of this policy. So whatever the policy you are attaching to that user, only that restricted area that user will able to perform the operations. If I remove this administrator access permission now, and let me add for the EC2. Let me search from here. The search EC2, and you can see here Amazon EC2 full access. Let me attach this. Policy has been added. Only now Amazon EC2 full access. Okay. If I try to execute this same command again, will that work? Can anyone confirm? Will this command work? Means
No,
I'm able to fetch the S3 bucket. So let's see.
We are giving full access. It means maybe possible we can.
No. We are
but
giving full access, but that is only applicable for EC2 server,
EC2 servers. Yes.
not for the S3 bucket.
Sorry, sorry. It means no.
So if I tell you in Hindi here, so in AWS we have a multiple resources like your EC2 servers, your S3 bucket, your RDS servers, your lambda function, API gateway. बट आप ओनली परमिशन दे रहे हो उसको एक्सेस करने के लिए EC2 सर्वर्स का. So वो यूजर सिर्फ EC2 सर्वर पे एक्सेस कर पाएगा, लाइक क्रिएशन ऑफ द सर्वर्स, यूर रिबूटिंग, टर्मिनेटिंग एनी आईपी एड्रेस चेंज समथिंग. सो वो EC2 के अलावा कोई भी पॉलिसी सॉरी रिसोर्स क्रिएट नहीं कर पाएगा अकाउंट में, बिकॉज हमने क्या किया है, ओनली EC2 सर्वर की परमिशन दे रखी है. फुल एक्सेस है बट ओनली फॉर EC2 सर्वर्स, नॉट फॉर द कंप्लीट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. सो जब भी आप किसी रियल टाइम प्रोजेक्ट पे काम करोगे ना, तो किसी को भी फुल एक्सेस मत देना वहां पे. डोंट गिव एनी फुल एक्सेस टू एनीवन in the real time project because it's not a come under the security, sorry, it will be a policy breach. So no one give the access. But in a real time project, what will happen if you have a, let's say you are working as a DevOps engineer in your project. So in that case, you need to raise the request to get the full access. And once after account owner approval or your respective tech architect lead or something, once they approve your request, then only you will get the administrator access. Directly, no one can allow you to give use that full access. Okay, and they should have a, you should have a strong reason why you need full access. Otherwise, they will not allow to give you the access. Okay, and even you are able to see now users here, but in real time industry, they never use this user based mechanism. They use your SSO login. If you remember aware about this single sign on. Anyone? I hope who is working, they might aware about this. Sometimes people use Microsoft AD or any other authenticator mechanism, single sign-on. So they create their account or Microsoft AD. I hope everyone is aware about this Microsoft AD, Active Directory.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir, I don't have any idea.
Yeah, so this is basically the centralized login system where let me show you here so you can understand. Let's say this is your office, okay, and you have a multiple user system. Okay, here you might get 100 employee or 1,000 employee, or let's say if you take example for the TCS, so they have a employee in the lakh. Okay, so you have this number of system which provided to the users as an employee. Okay, so will they create your local user here? No, because it's not a practically it's not possible going to each employee and creating the local user. So instead of that, they will create Microsoft AD account on their centralized server. Okay, and once they create your user account here, then they will mount this Active Directory domain into their system, this user employee system. थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे एक्टिव डायरेक्टर का थोड़ा सा अगर कंसेप्ट आप रीड कर लोगे ना, सो इट विल बी क्लियर फॉर यू. लेट्स से ये this is my PC. If I open this properties, just read little bit about the Microsoft AD here. Here where I can find, because it's Windows 11. We can add that domain mapping here if anyone remember. Let me check this advanced setting. Computer name. Yes, here is the things. Work group, you can say it's a local work group. Yeah, you need to put your whatever the Active Directory domain name, you can just put it here, and then it will ask username and password, and whatever the Microsoft AD credentials you have, you can just enter here, and then you are able to join that Active Directory membership. So instead of using your local user account, you can able to access your centralized login system, which is here created on the Active Directory. Okay, then this concept used everywhere, like for the centralized login mechanism. Some project might use different tools here. I am just giving the example for the Microsoft AD. Okay, so they will not create your local account. Like अभी मेरा लैपटॉप है तो उस पे हम नॉर्मली लोकल अकाउंट क्रिएट करते हैं, बट ऑफिस में ऐसा नहीं होता. वो सेंट्रलाइज आपको एडी का ही क्रेडेंशियल मिलता है, जो sometimes people use as a employee ID to log into that particular system. Okay, which is a map or managed by the our IT team in the organization. If they want to support remotely for your any local issues like your Outlook issues or any system related issues, so they can easily take your remote desktop. They never come to your desk. Okay, they from there on their sitting area, they can easily connect to your local machine, and they can by contacting you, they can able to resolve that. So they that is the additional benefit for this. So this way you can manage the active account. Okay. This is for the user. Then come to this roles now. So role is similar to users. Okay, to users role, but there are some difference. You definitely might get the entry question in this. What is the difference between user and roles in AWS? Okay, so in that case, you by user, if you create a user, you will get the console access as we have seen. Okay, to log into your AWS accounts, and then you will get one credentials, which is access key and secret key. which is not possible for the roles. The roles you cannot create any access key or secret key. Okay, so let me show you how we can create the role. Just go to role, simply click on role, just select the service type AWS service, and here select the service category like for this role where you want to use, like EC2 servers, Lambda function, or any other services. Let's say I'm using this for this EC2. Okay, for EC2 I want to use this role. So just select EC2 here, use cases, and click on next. Same process. Now you can able give the permission like a S3 bucket permission or something. You can just give S3 bucket full access and just click on next. Give the role name like demo DevOps role S3. Okay, and just create the role. Okay, so we have created this role. Which role? Which role we have created? Demo DevOps. This one. Okay. Let me copy this. So as you can see, it will not ask for any console access or credentials, access key and secret key. So that is the major benefit in the users and roles. And IAM roles we can only use within AWS services, like for Lambda function or any S3 bucket for S3 bucket and EC2 servers. But you cannot use outside the AWS. And users, IAM users, you can use from anywhere in the world. Like we are getting the user access key and secret key, which is the credentials. So we can configure in any user account, local machine, and you can start using it. So that is the one more difference. So this user I have created. So how I can use now? Let's go to your EC2. Go to your EC2 here. How we can attach that role to the servers? Just click on that particular server. Or first, let me log into the server so you can get better understanding. How you can log in? Simply click on server and connect. So before attaching that role, I want to show you the difference. No. So server has been connected successfully. So let me check the AWS CLI is installed or not here. How you can check AWS hyphen version. So AWS is not here. So how we can install? Just search install AWS CLI for Ubuntu. Okay. Because without that package, we will not able to perform any AWS CLI commands. So for Ubuntu or for Linux flavor. Okay. Let me directly try with this command if that works. apt install AWS CLI. Okay. क्या शरद शेयर मार्केट की तरह दिख रहा है क्या कुछ कमांड प्रॉम्प्ट ये लिनक्स लिनक्स का जादू है
ट्राय तर करत राहतो मी ते सोडत नाही मी तेवढा
घाबरायचं नाही घाबरलं तर काय होणार
घाबरायचा
नाही
विषय नाही तुम्ही असताना सपोर्टला एवढं काही घाबरायचं मी
ठीक
प्रयत्न
आहे
करतो प्रामाणिकपणे जेवढं मला जमेल ना मी प्रयत्न तर करत राहीन.
Okay, the package has been installed now. So let me check once again. AWS space hyphen version and just check. Okay, so now we are able to getting this output. So let me try to run that same command AWS S3 ls. So a credential is not configured here. He is asking like you can configure credentials by running these commands. Let me try that. So access key and access key and password is there is no, because we want to attach the IAMA role. Okay, not the users. And credentials we will get only for if you create the IAMA users. Okay. So now let me attach that newly created role to this server. How you can attach? Just refresh this page. One minute. Just select the server. Okay. So now how we can connect? Just select this server. Okay. And from the action, come to this security. You will see the option here, modify IAMA role. Okay. Just click on that. And here as of now, there is no role attached to that servers. So that's why he is giving the error. Which error he is giving? AWS S3 LS. He is giving this kind of error. Okay. Which means credential is not configured. So now just refresh and just select that role which we have created, like demo DevOps role S3. Okay. And simply update role here. Okay. The role has been successfully attached to this server. So now if I run this command again, see. So without configuring any credentials, we are able to perform this AWS CLI command activity. Okay. That is the power of IAMA roles, which we can use within a AWS environment. Outside that we cannot use. If you have any specific requirement to use outside network, AWS network, then you need to use the IAMA user, because which has a credentials you will get. Is that clear? The difference between IAMA roles and users.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me remove this user again. Sorry, role, not user. How we can remove that? Select that particular server from action, security, modify IAMA role, and just make it a no IAMA role. Okay, and just click on update. And he is asking additional confirmation, so we can just add that here, detach and detach it. Okay, if I try to run this command again, so let's see, we are getting the same error again. So this is the process where you can create the IAMA role and attach the policy. Now I will show you how we can create the custom policy. So before that, let me show you why we need custom policy in the real time. This is whatever things we have done, which is enough for the practical purpose. But in real time cases, what will happen? Let's say you get one task, Jira task, where you need to define the one, let's say one IAMA role. Okay, because in real time, no one create the users, as we have seen security compliance. Okay, because which has a we will get credentials for access details. So you you will get one task, create one role with the permissions like access only single bucket, single S3 bucket. Okay, so Earlier, when we see policy, we have given the Amazon S3 full access. So that also not a feasible approach in the real time. So only give only respective permission only instead of giving the full access. Because if you give the full access, which means he can able to access all S3 bucket. Okay. If sometime that developer write any S3 bucket related operations in his code. Okay. And in that case, if he made any manual mistakes, we don't know when we have if sometime manual mistakes happen as a human error. If he write down any operations like delete S3 bucket, so in that case, instead of mentioning any single bucket, he added the kind of star there. So what will happen? So by as per the logic, his code, he will delete the entire S3 bucket. So if you have a very critical data available in any particular S3 bucket or something, so what will happen? That your data will be get terminated by this logic. So to avoid this kind of situation in the real time, you should always go with the restrictive manner, which is give only single S3 bucket access, not for the all the S3 bucket, which means full access. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now let me show you how we can create this custom policy. This is one of the example I am just showing you, but same thing applicable for other services as well. Let's say you want to give the any you want to create one IMA role which should be accessible only let's say RDS. So in that case you can give the RDS instance permission only instead of giving the full access. Or if that user want to access only the properties of the RDS, like just you want to check the RDS status, your RDS replication lags or something, then in that case don't give the RDS full access. Only give only RDS read only access. So definitely that's that policy. That policy is available in the AWS managed policy. So let me search. First, let me delete this servers. This was running since longer period of the time. Let me delete that. I will delete after the session because you might use that for any purpose. So how we can create? Just go to IAM. I think I have created few policies last time since I'm using this account from 2016. So there might be lots of practicals I have done before that. So type, let me filter it out, customer manage policy. You can able to see this policy. I think I have created last time, but let me show you that. This is the AWS S3 read only policies. OK, so if I filter it out as a JSON, you can see I have given the put object, your get object and describe object, which means put and get means your download and upload. Object means your data, which can be your folder or your files for S3 bucket. You can see this parameter here, S3 bucket, and I'm giving the resources as a star. So meaning of this policy is like you are giving the download and upload of permission for all the bucket. OK, you are not giving any permission for the delete object, delete bucket or something. No delete operation. OK, so let me show you one more policy here. Let me filter it out here. Or I can search S3 demo S3 bucket. Let me expand it. Yeah, this is the one of the policy example. You can see I am giving the all S3 bucket operation here under the action S3 star, which means I can perform all the operation related to S3 bucket like a delete object, create object or delete bucket something, but only applicable for single S3 bucket. inside the resources, instead of giving the star, you can define the single resource like this. So this is the concept of this giving the single S3 bucket access. ARN AWS particular bucket name you can mention here. This is for the bucket and this is for the inside bucket object like any subfolders, folders, subfolders like that. Okay. So now what is the steps to create this kind of custom policy? So if you have this kind of any custom policy handy JSON format, you can simply go and just select policies and click on create policy. Definitely you might have this visual option here. I will show you that as well. And also if you have a JSON handy, you can just simply click on JSON and just replace that value here. Okay. And simply click next. Give the policy name like demo DevOps S3 bucket or single S3 bucket, right? And just you can see the allowed permission for S3 bucket and just click policy. So your policy has been created with this name. If I search that policy now, demo DevOps, you can see now it's a customer managed policy. OK, if we expand that, we can see in the JSON format. And one more way I can show you like create policy. This is the visual base, wizard base you can create. OK, if you don't know about this JSON format, simply select the service here. Let's say S3 bucket. And the permission you can select from here. Instead of giving the all access, OK, you can select like a list bucket policy. Then your read operations. In read, what you can give get object, for example, then your describe object, describe job or something like describe object. So you can get this all the different policies here. OK, so based on the requirement, you can select. Now I want to give write operation, which means put object. So where I can found that put object here it is. OK, and now I don't want to give this get and put object permission for all the S3 bucket. If I select resources all, it will applicable for all S3 bucket as I shown JSON format, right? But in that case, I don't want to give that for all this S3 bucket. I want to give only for specific bucket permission only. So I can mention the bucket name here. So how you can get the bucket name? Just go to back to this session and just search S3 bucket. You are getting right what I am trying to explain.
Yes, sir.
These are the complete real-time use cases. OK, so just you can do your hands-on practical for this. Because in the real-time cases, no one can provide or we should not provide any full access to any resources. So here I can get, for example, for this bucket. OK, so if I click on that, I will get the bucket ARN from where I can find it out. Under properties, you can see bucket ARN. Just copy that and you can mention the resource ARN here. Just paste it and add ARN here. OK, so same for the object as well. Resource ARN copy here slash give the star, which what is the meaning of this like ARN slash star, which means let's say this exam I'm giving the permission for this bucket. So whatever inside that bucket like files or folders, so it will applicable for all the folder structure here. Okay, that role can able to access all the data present in this S3 bucket. So that is the meaning of this policy. Simply add ARN. Now we can just simply go to next, and you can give the your policy name like dummy single S3 policy. Okay, this is the policy name, and you can just create policy. If I go to just simply click on this view policy, dummy single S3 policy, and if you can see now in the JSON format, so you can see the same structure, like giving the action like put object, get object, list bucket, and only for these operation will applicable for only single bucket. So is that clear now how we can create the custom policy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is just one of the example. You can try the same thing for different resources. Like if you want to give only permission for the RDS servers or any other services like CloudFront or something. So from here, list of services you can select. Like you want to give only policy permission for auto scaling, your CloudFront, your IMA role, Lambda function, RDS, SNS, and other services. Okay. So based on your requirement, you can just simply select that service and you can give the policy permission in the next. If you click on next. Okay. So your question was on this. Let me search here quickly because that kind of situation I have not configured, but maybe there is a policy available. Let me search quickly. Act as a AWS expert and write IAM policy to allow user to create AWS resources in Mumbai, for example, Mumbai region only. Okay, so let me think. Let me wait for the outputs. Okay, you can add the additional condition string not equals. Like you can add the Mumbai wherever the region you want to restrict that you can add here. App South 1. This is for the Mumbai region code. So all the operations like running the instance, then your RDS, your Lambda function, something. These are the some sample policies where applicable for in the Mumbai region. Hmm. Okay. So the meaning of this policy as he has given the output. So these actions applicable only in the Mumbai region, and this policy applicable for the apart from the Mumbai, he cannot perform any actions. Okay, this one deny policy. You can see the effect deny, and here you can see the allow conditions. So yes, this way you can just achieve that requirement. The main thing is ChatGPT is really helpful. You can just use effectively. Just main thing is like how you can ask the question to ChatGPT. So your prompting should be clear. So he will give the proper answer. Anyone using ChatGPT on daily basis for any troubleshootings or any learning voice for any other task?
Yeah, for learning purpose, I use.
Hmm. Okay, so that's really good. You asked that question. Okay, because in the real time, I never configure this kind of situation because that kind of task I never get. So, but this is the in the entry question, you might get this kind of questions like how you can situation based question. how you can deny or allow for any particular region. So you don't need to explain this complete policy as it is, but at least you should aware like yes, we can configure that kind of policy, right? And every policy has a two blocks, like your action block, which you can whatever the permission you want to define, you can define here, and this is the resource block. So on what these actions will perform on which resources. Okay. So any other questions before we move out to this IMA part? So that is the reason I'm going proper way that I don't want to quickly finish all the topics because there are lots of things if you want to cover. But still I'm trying to cover whatever the main areas you need to learn. Okay. And because of your questions as well, I am also getting some of the additional hints. So which things you are getting like in mind in your mind, which questions you are asking. So that also helped me additionally like this for the Mumbai region condition based policy.
सर आपण जे आता रोल बनवले जे रिसोर्सेस साठी याच्या अगोदर डायरेक्ट जर आपण बनवत होतो त्यावेळी डायरेक्ट लॉग इन करू शकत होतो ना EC2 वगैरे किंवा ते S3 बकेट डायरेक्ट ऍक्सेस करू शकत होतो ना.
That is for my main account, root account.
अच्छा अच्छा.
हा जे मी ऍक्सेस करत होतो ना ते मी माझं अकाउंट यूज करतोय ऍडमिशन मेन रूट अकाउंट.
हा.
I just created one more additional users just to show you like how we can use that users. Let me delete this user now. So one question you might get on this user group, which I explained initial of this session. So let's say you have a multiple users like 100 users in your organization, and you are that user are from the different department like finance, HR, your security, your payroll department, something. So if you divide like each user like 20 users for from the each department, and you want to give S3 bucket access for the finance department team and the payroll team, then you want to give the EC2 server access for the HR team or something, then you want to give IDS access for the different team. So how you can manage effectively? If I ask you a question now, what will be your answer?
We can create custom policy for every department.
So how you can manage those policy effectively? Like, will you go one by one user and you will assign that policy?
No, we create first group and attach that group for that policy.
Yeah, correct. So that will be the right answer. So create one group, each department wise, add those relevant users there. Okay. And for the group, you can assign the one single policy, whatever the requirement you have, like S3 bucket access, ideas, department wise. Because assigning the each policy for the each user, that will be a very hectic job. So 100 users को आपका policy दोगे one by one.
सर
So that
आपने
is
शुरुआत
the
में ही बताया था ना कि ये ग्रुप बनाने के बाद उसी पर ही करना है, ऐसा बोला था ना.
no, that is one of the use cases. But if sometime you have only create, you want to create only single users. So what will happen? You don't need to, in that case, you don't need to create a user group. You can simply create one users and you can give the permissions. If you have a more than one user, like 50 users, 10, 20 users, something, in that case, and those are from the same department, then you can use that concept like attaching the permission to group. But as I said, in the real time, you don't need to create any IMA user. This is just for the practical and just to show you the concept, like how we can use user and group. In the real time, they will use as a centralized login system, your Active Directory. From there they will manage the policy and your other stuffs like password management something. SSO, single sign-on. So as a DevOps engineer, we can create roles, okay, but not users. Just for the security compliance, and it will not allow. So one video I have prepared last time that is really helpful. I think did I shared yesterday the link? Because there is one more concept you might definitely get in the real time. It's depend on the project to project and the requirement. What like what I can say. Let's say you have this AWS account one, and this is the second AWS account two. Let's say both are the production account. In this AWS production account, you have your application, which is based on your EC2, and your S3. You want to access the data from the S3 bucket, which is that S3 bucket will present is present in the different AWS accounts. So how you can access this will be called as a cross account access. Cross account access. So in this case, you need to configure the IAM role. OK, IAM role by giving the certain policies to access this cross account access. So for that, whatever the policy and the procedure you need to follow, that I covered in one of the videos on the channel. So let me show you. This is the additional concept. If you can go through that as well, which is you will get some additional concept. OK, because this kind of question might come in the scenario based question when you face any interview for the AWS. These are the 2-3 videos are there. Cross account setup, then for this, and this is for the S3 bucket. OK, if you go to my channel and just search this, let me give you one by one link here. You can just definitely refer that. Let me. OK, I think Jatin is joined there, right? Jatin left कर दिया क्या?
He is left. Yeah, left हो गया वो.
Actually उसका time zone different है ना, तो वो थोड़ा सा problem आता है. Anyways, he is just following the recording as well. So I will just share this all the cross account related stuff here. And this is really very interesting topics. You can definitely go through. I will suggest how you can set up this cross account to access different S3 bucket from the different AWS account. And one more is here. Is that fine for today? Because I covered in the detail for the IMA. Normally, if I can finish quickly, then 10 minutes is fine. But I don't want that kind of closure.
Yes, we are good actually.
So tomorrow morning, I'm not available. I'm just going outside just to purchase some urgent things. So, but evening time we can cover is S3 bucket and these are the stuffs. OK, and then next weekend, Saturday, we can cover this. These things will not take too much time, like no Lambda functions and this, but this will take some little bit time, like ECR, EKS cluster. OK, so next Saturday, Sunday, we will finish up it all the AWS related topic. Then after that, we will completely move to more core level DevOps, like your Git setup, how you can set up your Git project, then your Jenkins CI/CD pipeline and GitHub Actions, Terraform, Kubernetes clusters. So those are the very really important points. So don't miss those lectures, OK? Because joining the live session and watching the recordings will be a different cases. So just I am just showing based on the some of the user experience. Even you feel that, let me stop the recording.